Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. And today is a glorious Tuesday. We've got so much to cover. All of it is good news. We are finally getting what all the panicans said we would never get. Yesterday, it broke. Pam Bondi has taken the criminal referrals given to her by the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and Pam Bondi has taken them to a grand jury. And this is very exciting. I'm going to go through what we know so far as the beginning of the show goes on. I will give you a little advance. While grand juries are secret, unless Democrats are in power, then they leak everything out, which is a crime. But there's some stuff coming out, and there is some credible reporting. And this is a grand jury seeking indictments involving the Obama coup conspirators, okay? The Obama coup conspirators. So yeah, isn't that awesome? And there's a lot of terrible people that it could be. It could be, they could be in the grand jury getting multiple indictments at once. They could take one at a time. We don't know, but there is some reporting coming out, which I'll share with you later in the hour, that the grand jury is here in Florida. Oh yes, because the break-in of Mar-a-Lago was part of the coup conspiracy. The break-in of Mar-a-Lago was they thought that Trump had in his personal safe at Mar-a-Lago in his office the files that were declassified by Tulsi Gabbard a couple weeks ago. That's what they broke into Mar-a-Lago looking for. Don't believe any of these cover stories they had to do it. That's why they were in such a panic. And that puts it within the jurisdiction of the Florida Federal Court District. So early reporting from John Solomon from Just the News and Real America's Voice is that the Pam Bondi Obama coup conspiracy grand jury is here in Florida, which means that I could be on the jury. And we may have grand jury people listening right now. The chances are that this is at a grand jury within the listening range of our radio station. So this is awesome stuff. You very well could find yourself on John Brennan's jury, Comey's jury, Peter Strzok's jury, Lisa Page's jury, Hillary Clinton's jury. Oh, this is great. I wonder if they'll have separate trials or if they'll do one big trial. This is what we have been waiting for. And all these panicans, don't you love that, panicans? That's another great word that President Trump came up with. All these panicans. Oh, man. And while I'm not a panican, I've been impatient with Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino. And I told you if the arrest, if the indictments, if the grand juries come down, I'll be the first to say I was wrong. Now we got the grand jury in place. It looks like Pam Bondi is doing exactly what we elected Trump to do, bring these lawfare criminals to justice. And, of course, they say you can indict a ham sandwich. I'm so excited I can't even speak. They say you can indict a ham sandwich. I still can't say it. I'll try it again for the third or fourth time. They say you can indict a ham sandwich. There we go. In a grand jury. This one should be a home run because there's so much detailed evidence with the signatures of the co-conspirators in the Russiagate Obama coup against Trump's first term. So this is a home run. This is very exciting. Now, I'm going to prepare you for what we're going to start to hear because when this story broke, it was right before I went live with my podcast yesterday afternoon. So I did this, and I take calls on my podcast, just like this. I just do it in the afternoon and on the weekends. And I made a prediction at the beginning of my podcast, and it happened with the first calls, okay? You're going to hear liberals are in a state of utter shock and panic. They've believed this rhetoric. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing ever happens to these people. You know, they just, this announcement of the grand jury has the left in a panic. So you're going to hear a lot of them mention Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and all of that stuff. We're not talking about that. If you bring that up, we're going to move on, and that's not what this is about. You're going to hear a lot of people who claim to be MAGA, claim to be Republican, claim to be conservative, who are going to go with that same talking point. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. What are you talking about? Lots is happening. You know, the declassification of all this information, the criminal referrals, and now a grand jury is in place, reportedly in Florida, although we don't have a confirmation of that from the Justice Department, but John Solomon reporting that his sources are telling him that the grand jury is probably here in Florida. So you're going to hear a lot of fake MAGA, fake Republicans, fake conservatives try to tell you nothing's going to happen, nothing ever happens to these people, and a lot of it's wishful thinking of lunatics on the left trying to convince themselves of things, but also a lot of it is them trying to spread propaganda. There was a story that dropped, and we have a lot to cover, by the way. In the beginning here, I'm going to talk about the Pam Bondi Obama coup conspiracy grand jury. I'm going to talk about this great business that's going on in Texas by the Texan Republicans who are making us proud. President Trump, it came out yesterday, is going to cut off emergency response FEMA aid to states who boycott Israel. I'm going to talk about that and tell you why that's a good thing and a whole bunch more. So we got a lot to cover on the program. We are going to take your calls. I do want to hear your calls on the grand jury. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll start taking calls after the first break. But this is a story came out yesterday that the Democrats, the DNC, is going to spend over $100 million on influencers to get them to spend their stuff. And isn't that something? It's not going to work. No one's buying that garbage. But here's what I wonder about that. This $100 million that they're spending on influencers, the DNC, you know, what a waste of money, right? On influencers to try to get them to spend. Do you think there'll be any fake MAGA, fake conservative influencers that get some of that money from the DNC? Would you be surprised at that? I would not be surprised at that at all. And we may hear from some of them with the seminar callers. They may be some of the people that get that, but no, there's no spin here. Like Bill O'Reilly said, the MAGA movement, we are a no-spin zone. We talk about what's going on. And, I'll say this, we're not going to have conversations about Epstein, but or anything related to that. But I'm going to tell you this. These Obama coup conspirators that are in front of the Pam Bondi grand jury right now, as we speak, the grand jury, they got word weeks ago that this was coming down because they still have a lot of friends, allies, and co-conspirators inside the different government agencies, inside the bureaucracy. So they were all tipped off. And this Epstein stuff that came out a few weeks ago, this was their disinformation propaganda campaign to distract away from what they knew was coming, this Pam Bondi grand jury to bring these Obama coup conspirators to justice. And that is what's happening. Now, this is an amazing special going on at MyPillow.com that is available exclusively to our listeners. This is a special you will find nowhere else. And I'm talking about the incredible special on the MyPillow slippers. I have the MyPillow My Slippers. Steve Kane has the MyPillow My Slippers. They're good for all day wear. They're so comfortable. They are amazing. The normal price for the MyPillow My Slippers is $149.98. That's how much I paid for mine. 2 cents shy of $150. Right now, you can get the MyPillow My Slippers for just $39.98. So it is a $110 special off, right? $110 off, just $39.98, $110 off with our promo code Kane at checkout. Now, this is a private sale that he's offering just for you guys and our audience. So there's two ways you can get this. First, you got to go online to our special MyPillow website, which is mypillow.com/Kane. mypillow.com/Kane. You'll see it there. It's $110 off the MyPillow slippers, just $39.98, normally $149.98. mypillow.com/Kane, Kane, and use our promo code Kane at checkout. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Order now before they run out of your size. At this price, they're selling like hotcakes, I promise you. And this is exclusive to our listeners. We are the only ones offering this special. MyPillow, My Slippers, $110 off. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, celebrating 49 years on the radio. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our first break of this glorious Tuesday and be right back. Oh, man, guys. Yeah, that is an exclusive deal, okay? The link to my MyPillow website, my private one, is in the description of the video, so you can go there and click that link and use our promo code Kane, or, as I said, by phone, 1-800-716-4879. And you can see on the screen right there, it's a great deal. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll take calls in just a bit. Okay, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. And if you're on hold, I'll start going to the calls after the break. Where am I? Okay. Okay. Oh, this is a great day, friends. This is a great day. All right. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. I will take the calls. Yeah, I know. Aren't you guys excited? How could you not be excited? Now, those of you in the chat, Bruce, who's in the chat all the time, I recorded a new commercial with him that's going to debut on the radio next week. But I may play it for you guys during one of the radio commercial breaks today. It's a good commercial. Bruce did a good job. You have to go to the other stream to see it, if I play it and hear it, but it's a good one. With Bruce, it's for Joe Thomas. Oh, this is great. Yep, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go to the phones right after the break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Oh, this changed everything. This changed everything. Oh. This is what they said wouldn't happen. Right? Exactly. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. This is a radio station commercial break we're in right now. We'll be back in just over a minute. Oh, everything's changed. Everything has changed. That's why Brennan's looked so panicked on MSNBC lately. This is exactly what we wanted, guys. It's exactly what we wanted. Less than a minute, we'll be back. You're going to hear hysterics from liberals as this goes on. I mean, just hysterics. All right, about 30 seconds. Hey guys, I'm back. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to go to the phones. If you're just tuning in, it broke yesterday that Pam Bondi has a grand jury in place with the Obama coup conspiracy criminal referrals. It's being reported by John Sullivan at Just the News that the grand jury is in place in the state of Florida, possibly. That's what his sources are telling him, which is awesome. And we could have people on the grand jury in this listening audience. Oh, man. And then when the trials happen, that means I'm in the potential jury pool. If I show up wearing a Trump 2028 hat, do you think they'll put me on Hillary's jury or Brennan's jury? I don't know. All right, well, let's take some calls. This is a great day. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Kurt from Maine.
Hey, Maine. What's up?
How you doing, bud? Listen, I'm undisabled, right? And I sit on the phone and I put out all of the platforms of Obama when he admitted that he was born in Kenya, and Obama that he sat and said he put propaganda and stuff out there, and we won, he said, like he's part of this coup against America. And he said it on these platforms and everything. But I missed a talking point, I think, because I just went on hold. But another thing I want to say is $100 million that they're paying the DNC. Mm-hmm. I've gone on them TikToks, and they go and they try to justify that Kamala should have been president and Obama.
Well, listen. I don't know why we're talking about Kamala. I mean, we've got this incredible story. The Obama coup conspirators, Clapper, Brennan, Comey, Peter Strzok, Biden wasn't president at the time, so that there's no presidential immunity. Loretta Lynch and others, and Hillary Clinton and her team. Where there's a grand jury in place for this coup against President Trump's first term, which is
awesome.
This is a day of celebration.
It sure is. But I think they need to go. That's treason for Obama. But he's already got on video.
You're not going to get President Trump. President Trump said that Obama has presidential immunity. However, since he has presidential immunity, he cannot take the Fifth Amendment and can be called to testify in the grand jury and in these trials. Since he,
but he don't get immunity for treason.
You don't want
treason is the only thing he can be charged with.
Okay, listen. I know people don't like to hear this. Okay. You don't want to go after Obama because, first off, he has presidential immunity, Supreme Court ruling. President Trump said he has immunity. And, if you start going after Obama, they're gonna start playing the race card. No one, you go after the first black president like this, it's going to cause all kinds of problems. And the coup conspirators, their trials will evaporate. Going after Obama is a rabbit hole to nowhere. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be. I'm not saying that he didn't commit these crimes, but it's not going to happen. You got to live in the real world, and he's got immunity according to President Trump.
Yeah, but I thank you, Brian. I love watching you. I only saw when I come on. Heard you talking about the $100 million spent. So I wasn't sure what the talking point, and while I was on hold, I had a hard time hearing you.
Okay.
But I love your show. I love it, bud. And I'll talk to you later, bud. I'm going to listen to you now. Thank you.
Take care. Good guy from Maine. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, awesome. Hey, this is Ryan from Texas, truck driver.
Hey, Texas, what's up?
I just wanted to say a couple things really quickly here. Let me turn off the YouTube so I can talk to you without that noise. Okay.
That's not noise. That's me.
A study. Oh no, sir. This.
Okay, I know what you mean. That's okay. Go ahead. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing.
Study. There's a study that showed that men with higher testosterone gets men to do the things that they know and believe to be right, while having lower testosterone, they give in to whatever other people tell them to do. So, knowing that 50 and 60-year-olds on average, this is fact. I would love for lefties to check this out. 50 and 60-year-old men have higher testosterone levels than 20-year-old men, 20-year-old boys, teenagers, on average. Is it any real shock to see so many weak, soggy lefties? The blue
No, you're
hair
wrong.
and
You
the-
have your
and the weak
testosterone is
generation?
as you grow older. When you get into your 40s and 50s and you're a man, there's a male form of menopause. It's called andropause. I call it menopause, but it's called andropause, and our testosterone is lower. That's why you've heard me talk about I get testosterone. You know, I take testosterone, you know, to raise it up. These young guys that you hear, you're talking about like some of these young guys that call me. You know, these young guys that call me, these liberal Democrats, they have been so feminized by everything in our society. They're hardly men. They've just been trained in a way and conditioned in a way that they don't know what being a man is all about. And you hear that in their calls.
I can't imagine if we had one of those little boys in the same position that Dan Bongino's in right now. Could you imagine what our state would be like? It'd probably look a lot like what it was when Biden was in, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. All right, appreciate the call. Truck driver in Texas. I'm not quite sure what he was talking about, though. I'm a little confused. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Wes from Claypool.
I couldn't understand either of that, but anyway, go. It doesn't matter. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
So, what red line was Trump about to cross?
You got to speak up. I can't understand what you're saying. You're kind of like mumbling a little bit.
So, what line does Trump have to cross for you to lose your support for him?
What line? I don't know. What line has he crossed that should cost him our support?
That's what I'm asking you. What line does he cross for you if he were to?
I can't think of anything that Trump could do that would cause me to not support him. He's a great man.
I think he's more of a father figure for you, and is borderline gay.
Oh.
Really homosexual.
Well, that's an interesting thing you said. I'm glad. No, this is great.
Like a little boy.
This is awesome what you brought up.
I'm
glad. No, slow down. I want to talk to you about this. Listen, I want to talk to you about this. This is interesting. You said that my support of Donald Trump is gay.
It is.
Okay,
Very.
So as a liberal person like you are, what's wrong with someone having same-sex? I know, of course. What's wrong with someone having same-sex attractions to you? That's a negative? If somebody has same-sex attractions, that's some kind of insult to you?
It's not negative for me, but I know it is.
Oh, it's not
you.
negative for you, so you're complimenting me.
It is for you.
You think that I have?
You don't like it.
You think I have a gay attraction towards President Trump? So you're calling in to elevate me and promote me and compliment me? Okay.
You're too afraid to be out of the closet. Mm-hmm. Gay boy.
Yeah.
He's a father figure.
He's out of material. He's repeating himself.
He's a father figure.
I've heard he said father figure 3 times. He thought he would have been hung up on it already. You said that I'm afraid of coming out of the closet. If I was in the closet and was afraid to come out, why would I keep you on the air? Why would I have kept you on the air if I was afraid?
He spends more time thinking about Trump than his own kids or family.
If I were in the closet and afraid to come out, why would I prolong this conversation even to the point where I'm late for the break? If I was in the closet and was afraid, wouldn't I have hung up on you and not even gone down this path?
I feel like you'd prolong it just to prove the point.
I think you're the one that has some same-sex attractions, and it sounds like towards me. Take care. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Why are all the Play Misty people for me guys? You know? Oh, my goodness. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. He ran out of material so fast. It was like on repeat. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We are celebrating Pam Bondi's Obama coup conspiracy grand jury in place. Reportedly, in the sunshine state of Florida, which would be awesome. We'll be back with your calls after this. These guys. Oh, my goodness. Oh, you know what? You guys want to hear Bruce's commercial? Let me cue it up. I have to finish editing this for the radio. Let me pull it up. I'm going to play it on my main stream. So if you're watching on the vertical stream with the green, you'll have to go to my other stream. But I got time. This, Bruce, who's in the chat all the time, he is a client of Joe Thomas. So I wanted to record a testimonial from him. I did it yesterday, but this is the raw, unedited version of it. On the line, we have Bruce. Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are, and he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
A fine gentleman. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we brought all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Well, I think Bruce did a great job. I don't think I got to edit that. I just got to change the format to audio format. It'll start on the radio this week. Bruce did a great job. There's like no dead air. Sometimes there's like dead air on commercials. I got to edit them out on that. That was awesome. And he did a great job. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you guys give Bruce? I'd give him a 10. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. We are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We're celebrating Pam Bondi's grand jury into President Obama's coup conspirators. It's very exciting. Oh, boy. And you've heard the liberals we've heard from so far. You can hear the panic in their voice. They're trying to distract into anything they can possibly dream of. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, I just thought about this. You're talking about this grand jury that's probably going to be down there where you are in Florida.
Yep.
Think about this. What judge could this be? this could actually be in front of the MAGA judge.
Yeah, it could be in Judge Cannon's courtroom from the Mar-a-Lago break-in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and if that's the case, then you're going to see heads blowing up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Now, if I get called for jury duty, let me ask you: if I get called for jury duty, like for the Brennan trial, Comey trial, Clapper trial, Hillary trial, should I wear a MAGA hat or not? If I'm wearing a Make America Great Again hat, do you think they'd put me on the jury?
I don't know. But here's the other thing that I'm thinking about, Brian. Both you and Steve could be on that grand jury.
Yeah, we both could be on
both
it.
Of you.
Yeah. I have it, yeah. I could even be the jury foreman. All right, appreciate the call, Mike. That'd be awesome. That would be so awesome. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. They chickened out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Great day in America.
Oh, yes.
I have to say this. You have to change the name of your program, though, today, because I think we're going to hear Attack Tuesday. Attack Brian Craig Tuesday, because you're telling the truth, and these losers, these people that have been exposed for cheating, are going to personally attack you because they can't defend what they've done.
Well, they believed all this rhetoric that you used to say, right? You're one of those panicans, right? Nothing's going to happen. Nothing ever happens to these people. And I was losing patience with Pam Bondi myself. I've talked about it a lot, but she's doing the right thing now. This is awesome.
100% the right thing. But we're going to have a little bit of a disagreement. As co-conspirator, Barack Obama has to be indicted. Doesn't mean he's going to be convicted because of the immunity, but he can be indicted. He has to be part of the whole case.
Waste of time.
He will go and have
He'll
to
be
testify.
he's going to be the star witness, and as the narcissist that he is, and not facing any criminal prosecution, he's going to be a witness for the prosecution.
No, but he will be a co-conspirator with immunity.
An unindicted? Oh, you think he might be an unindicted co-conspirator?
Has to be.
That'd be cool.
Has to be.
That'd be nice. I like that.
He has to be. Because that's the case. He's behind the whole damn thing. I have to tell you that. And this Mark Elias has to go. This is another lawyer that's been a thorn in the side of every Republican. This guy has no scruples. If you check who he is, you know who he is. You know who he is. But the average person doesn't. This is going to get your popcorn, folks. This is going to be actually Hollywood theater. What you're going to see.
Yeah. The only I can't wait. Now, federal trials are not televised, but the perp walks in. I know, isn't it a shame? They should be televised. I'd love that. I appreciate the call, Richie. I mean, if they televise these trials, but federal trials aren't televised, it'd be the most watched trial in history, surpassing even O.J. Simpson. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Wes from Texas.
Didn't I already talk to you?
No, that dude sounded a lot like me.
Okay.
Somehow.
There was another guy from Texas that sounded like you. All right, what's on your mind?
Crazy enough, right? Yeah, so I wanted to know more about how you feel about the Epstein connection with Trump.
No, see, this is, first of all, we did talk, but that's okay if you want to be a liar. See, we're not talking about...
I'm just messing with you, man.
If you want to be a liar, you're not messing with me. You're just making yourself look less credible than you do already, It's one call per day, but I'm giving you... Next time you call, that'll be it. Maybe forever. But listen, we're not talking about that. It has nothing to do with this. So you can get together in your little knitting circle with your weirdo loser gamer friends on Twitch. Okay, take a break from Valorant or whatever you play, and you can talk about that. No, we're not talking about it. If you call, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something.
Why are you circling around?
It is one call per day.
The platform was built on releasing the file
It is one call per day. You got on a second time. Okay, and
I don't call once a day. You're the liar. I don't call every day.
If you call back today,
Detracting from the Epstein list,
if you call back a third time,
pedophile,
I'm giving you a warning. Listen, you're going to want to hear this. You got on twice today. It's one call per day. If you call back a third time, if you call back a third time, you and I will never speak again. All right, all right. Take it. You don't care. Oh, then if you don't care, then we won't have any problems. All right, that's good. He won't care if I never talk to him again. That's good. You're on the air. See, they're freaking out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is David. I'm calling from Miami, Florida.
Hey, David in Miami. What's on your mind?
Listen, Brian, I don't mean to shift topics, but I want to challenge you a little bit if that's possible.
Depends. You know, it's not open phones today. We got a big news story, but I'll hear what it is, but I'm not going to promise you we're going to talk about it.
Okay, but I just want to talk about Miss Maxwell.
Now, see what I mean? No. See, this is what I told you guys. Before the show even began, you know, right at the beginning, I said, well, we're going to hear from the left. Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, they're going to do everything they can to destroy. I don't know why so many liberal guys are obsessed with. We're not going to do that. I'm sorry.
I'm not obsessed with it.
No, we're not. No, you are. We're not. We're not. It has. No, we're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. You and your loser friends can get your own. Because I'm hosting the show and I decide what the topics are, and I'm not talking about 20-year-old stories that have nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I think Trump has grown. I think he.
I know. I think all right. Take care. You guys can get your little knitting circles of girly men together. Get a Twitch stream, okay? Get a TikTok, and you guys can talk about that all day. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It don't matter, but I got a question. How do you feel that Trump and Jeffrey Epstein?
See what I mean? You know, this is really a fast. Do you guys hear what's happened here? Do you guys hear what's happened? Every single liberal has mentioned either Ghislaine Maxwell or Epstein, which I predicted. When this story broke yesterday, I did a podcast right away on this yesterday. And my podcasts are live. And I began my podcast saying the exact same thing I said at the beginning of this morning's radio show. And I said this: be prepared from the left with this grand jury in place to hear Epstein's name a lot and Ghislaine Maxwell. That's what they're going to do. That's their attempt. And I said this: you mention that, you're gone. I mean, it's hilarious to me. Pathetic. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Am I coming in okay?
Yeah.
Hello?
So far. Here we go.
Am I coming in okay? Hey, Brian, IB. Hi, brother.
Oh, hey, IB. What's up?
In the famous words of Jackie Gleason, oh, how sweet it is, baby. I cannot wait to see Obama in the hot. Finally, I cannot wait to see Obama in the hot seat. All of these guys that even after Obama's been out of power, still wearing that Obama T-shirt, and nothing has ever been done for not only the black community, but for anyone. You had a caller last week talk about lying. How many times Barack Obama said you can keep your doctor if you choose? Mm-hmm. How many times did he make that lie?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna finally see that gray, skinny little bee in that chair, and I want to see the faces of some of the people that had Obama's back, understanding that he was screwing us, because Obama's words was, "I'm going to fundamentally change this country" when he was inaugurated.
Yeah.
Don't forget those words.
That's true.
And he's accomplished it.
And he was on his road to accomplishing it, and Trump stopped it. Now, I want to say this. We're going to have this. You hear what the liberals are doing, right? They can't even. They're in such a panic. They can't even talk about the Bondi grand jury to the Obama coup conspirators. They can't even say it, right? But that's okay. We have two openings on the board. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. Now, this question is a very important question before we go to break. Do you or someone you know and love suffer from neuropathy? If you do, I don't have to tell you. If you have neuropathy or a friend or a loved one have neuropathy, you know it is living torture. The numbness, the pain, the burning, the tingling in the hands and feet, the dizziness, the falling down. Some have no feeling at all. It's endless. Well, regardless of what your doctor has told you, or even your specialist has told you, there is a treatment for neuropathy, and they have it at Lighthouse Medical in Pompano. Not only do they have a treatment for neuropathy, they have a treatment that works, rid Steve of all of his neuropathy symptoms, and it's a treatment that lasts. Steve had his neuropathy treatment 3 years ago, and his symptoms have not returned. Lighthouse Medical Center can help you no matter where you're located in the United States. Telehealth is available for their neuropathy treatment. I'm going to give you the number. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show, because when you do that, you get to take advantage of their no-charge consultation. Here's the number, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642, and online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. We're in a radio station break. Back in just over a minute. Let's see. Less than a minute. We'll be back, guys. You're on hold, stand by. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Panic in liberal world, as you can hear by the calls today. We have one opening on our board at 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. If you're just tuning in, Pam Bondi has convened a grand jury from Tulsi's criminal referrals of the Obama coup conspirators, which includes Brennan, Comey, Clapper, and others. So we're celebrating. We're very excited. But there's just complete hysterics from liberal men. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Oh, hey, Renee.
Now, I've been following the news, which you should try doing sometime. And what has come to my attention is the Republican Party is really worried about the midterm. And they think that Donald Trump is a nut. And they are trying to take their party back. So they are worried about the connection Ghislaine Maxwell has.
That's it. That's interesting. So here you go, Ghislaine Maxwell again. Where'd you get that line of? Where'd you get that line of garbage? Is that what Jazz? Excuse me. Excuse. See, no, he got both names: Epstein, Giselle Maxwell. Pathetic. Pathetic.
You're terrified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you are.
I know. That's why I'm taking unscreened calls live on the air. I'm so terrified. I'm taking unscreened calls from liberals on the air. Yeah.
You're going to lose. That's how you know you're going to lose.
Then why are you guys so panicked?
I'm not panicking. You are.
You think
it's obvious.
You think you sound calm, cool, and collected? You sound like a hysterical woman, Renee.
I'm excited. I'm thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even pronounce Zoran Mandani's name.
How do you feel with in Texas? In Texas, you're on hold. I'm not going to put up with this garbage. Okay, can't even stop talking. What is your thoughts? We redistricted. Jasmine Crockett no longer has a congressional district in Texas.
Man, get your subject right, man. You're scared.
I know. He can't even comment on that. Okay, yes. You're on the air. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff. Oh, my goodness. These liberals are...
funny.
Which one?
Oh, my God. That was a perfect response.
Yeah.
The only question I have is when he does the arrest, will he do it at night, raiding these people's homes, or will he just do it in public?
I hope it's done like in the middle of the day with the sun shining and it's bright, so we can get them on TV clearly.
Yeah. That's clearly what I'd like to see.
Do you think Brennan will put a coat over his hands so you don't see the handcuffs on his wrist? I like when they do that on perp walks.
Yeah, but how far into the Biden administrations will this go, and will this go back to the Clinton and Bushes?
Yeah.
Because I believe they were all involved.
Yeah, could.
This is crazy how far the deep state went. And, when my eyes were open to the Bushes, we always knew the Clintons were evil. But my goodness,
well, and the declassified documents that came out at the end of last week, I went over them on the show. Hillary Clinton personally and her top campaign people were named in those documents, and they came up with the whole idea of the Russiagate coup conspiracy. So Hillary Clinton, Mrs. Clinton, and some of her senior campaign people most definitely could be in front of that grand jury indictment list that's up. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
She paid for it. Brennan and Comey knew it was false. Obama knew it was false, and he authorized it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, to overturn an election or try to steal an election in 2016.
Well, what they were trying to do, no, Trump was already elected. What they were trying to do was get him impeached, resign, and make Pence president. All right, appreciate the call, Jeff. No, the coup conspiracy, Trump had already won. He was president-elect. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how you doing today, Brian?
All right.
This is Angel Angeles.
Hey.
Angeles Antonio.
What's up?
Hey, look, you know something? I think that they're really going to come at Hussein Obama because, they've been bringing up things about his birth certificate again. And that's what's going to get. I think they found out that is
destructive. That's going to get these people off the hook. You don't want to be You don't want to be going into the birth certificate and stuff. That's bad news. That would destroy everything.
No, I think that's going to compel him. They're going to be able to use that to say that he wasn't president. That's what's going to make him be able.
That's a fantasy. That's someone's fantasy. You don't want to do that. That's going nowhere. Listen, regardless of whether what the truth is on that, there was a birth announcement for Obama in the local newspaper in Hawaii that they released when this was a controversy during his first term. You know, I mean, you'd have to be really forward thinking to do that. That would get all these guys off the hook.
No,
we're not going to get Obama.
Boy, I want to get him so bad.
But we're not.
Man.
So
yeah, I understand. It's. I just wanted some way, man. He has the answer for what he's done, man. And just by getting everybody else is not going to be it. Man, I just want.
Listen, being a Democrat president on its own is immunity. But if you're the first black president, you've got total immunity just by being the. No one wants to arrest and prosecute and be in the history books of arresting and prosecuting the first black president. Yeah, but you're not in a position. But you're not in a position where you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you keep saying that we don't care about him, man. We do not. Listen, the mass majority of us, we don't care about him like that. We don't care if
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if
don't care.
If Obama was arrested, okay, the Democrats. I was talking earlier. A story came out yesterday that they're going to spend. The Democrats, the DNC, are spending over $100 million on influencers to spread their message.
Yeah.
They would spend another $100 million staging protests coast to coast. It would be a disaster. It would, and all these people would get off the hook if you did that.
Yeah, but
you have to choose. You have to choose your battles in life, and that's a losing one.
I understand that very clearly. I understand that. I understand what you're saying, but he needs to pay, man.
It's not going to happen. Listen. He's got to live with Michelle Obama. That's pretty rough punishment.
Oh my God.
Right?
No, it's nice. It's nice talking to you.
All right, take care. Take care. He might want to go into a cell to get away from that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Mr. Mike from Texas.
Yeah, Mike in Texas. What's on your mind?
Well, you just blew my mind when you told me Jasmine Crockett no longer has a district because I'm in her district.
Yeah, the redistricting they're doing in Texas does away with her current district. She doesn't even live in the district she represents right now with the new redistricting.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, you made my day. Oh, hey, doesn't it sound like a RICO level?
Yeah, it's all RICO.
They pull all these people together.
Correct. Yes, it's a big RICO case. Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would love to see it. I hope they televise the perp walks.
Yeah, me too. This is happening, guys. The grand jury is a real thing. This is not This is a real thing that the Justice Department announced. So this is real. It is happening. You don't have a grand jury unless you're going to have arrest. Let's just hope for some good perp walks.
I'd pay good money on pay-per-view to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, we could pay off the national debt with a pay-per-view perp walk. All right, man. Take care from Texas. Take care. Take care. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're celebrating this incredible grand jury. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. You know, at Friendly Tire in Margate, you can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. And remember, when I say out the door and on the road, Friendly Tire does not charge you to mount, balance, or dispose of your old tire. When you call Friendly Tire, Friendly Mike, who is the owner of Friendly Tire, will give you a quote over the phone. That is the out the door and on the road price. He can get you tires for any type of vehicle. I see people in there with I see people in there with Porsches and Vets, and I see people in there with rust buckets. I don't know how they made it. And he has all the name brands you know and love. If you have a Tesla, he's got all the special tools for the Teslas and gets great deals on those. If you have run flats, incredible deals. If you are a Lyft or Uber driver, it's a godsend. It'll save you and your business because you go through tires a lot. You get great deals. He has thousands of good used tires in stock. You can ask him about that. And He also does tire repairs. Give Friendly Tire a call. We have listeners that drive over an hour each way because the tires are that good. Give Friendly Tire a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445. Make sure you tell him I sent you, all right? Callers on hold, you stand by. 1 hour's down, 2 to go. We're going to come back and celebrate the Pam Bondi grand jury in place, reportedly here in Florida, which means we can get some convictions, not those Virginia juries, for the Obama conspiracy coup people. We're very excited. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian Craig. Back after this. Oh, man. Oh. Yep. All the panicans were wrong. Do you guys hear the panic from the liberals? They want to talk about anything but. They don't understand, bringing up these distractions. It's like Jasmine Crockett trying to play the race card. Nobody hears that stuff anymore. You sound like an idiot. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll get to the calls. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll take some calls. I got to recap when we get back, but then I'll take calls. All right, hour number 2 has begun. I'm going to go to the phones. I haven't got any of the audio sound bites yet, but I will as the show goes on. If you're just tuning in, it dropped yesterday afternoon that Attorney General Pam Bondi has convened a grand jury, reportedly here in Florida. Isn't that awesome? Courtesy of the Mar-a-Lago break-in, putting it in the jurisdiction of the Florida Federal Court District. But the grand jury is in place for the Obama coup conspirators. So while Obama has immunity, yeah, we could see Obama as an unindicted co-conspirator. And I'd like that, wouldn't it? Oh, yeah, that'd be great. So we're going to the phones. Now, we've heard from a lot of people on the lines. We've heard from some liberals. Every liberal has panicked and mentioned Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell or both. They're in a complete panic. They're in hysterics. And anyone who mentions, we're not talking about Epstein or anything related to that, That's just you know, throwing noise out there to distract you, you know. But I haven't heard one liberal yet call in and talk about the actual grand jury. They're trying to pretend it's not happening. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Sandra calling from Indiana.
Hey, Sandra.
Hey. First off, with your liberal callers, you can never talk to them because they won't keep their mouth shut, for one, because they think they know it all. And the number of people I think need to be on the stand are first Obama, Hillary Clinton, Schiff, then Biden, Mayorkas for bringing all the liberal immigrants over, then Nancy Pelosi and Schumer.
Okay, sounds good.
And it should be on TV just like back in the
unfortunately
80s
federal trials are not televised.
I know, but it should be. It should be.
I know. This is a special case, and these should be. I agree. They should make a special announce so people can see it. I think the American people need to see it. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. But it'll be covered, believe me, on television. Even though we won't see the trials, there'll be a lot of coverage.
Yeah. Hillary #1, because everybody jumped on the Amtrak because of her hate for Trump.
Yeah.
And if people remember when Barbara Walters was the host of The View, they had President Trump on there when he was just a regular citizen.
Yeah.
And Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar about fell over each other's tongue trying to be the first one to hug him and kiss him.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. You take care. Yeah, appreciate that. You know, just mentioning Barbara Walters, there is a documentary on Barbara Walters on Hulu, and I watched it a couple weeks back. You know what shocked me about that? That a lot of these interviews she scored because she was having sex with, she was sleeping with one guy who was well connected that set up a bunch of interviews. I remember she had a big interview with Elizabeth Taylor. She was sleeping with Elizabeth Taylor's husband. And you know what shocked me about that is who would sleep with Barbara Walters? She's one of those people that even when she was young, she was like Hillary Clinton. She was never good looking. But they put her up there as some feminist, iconic person. She's a casting couch person. I was pretty surprised at that because she was so ugly. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Are all of the Trump victims liars? Are all of the women who came forward lying about them sexually assaulting them?
Yes.
Every single one of them?
Yes. If anybody makes that claim, they're lying. Yes. All right, take care. Since you asked. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. Craig from Winter Garden. How you doing?
All right, Winter Garden. What's up?
A question for you, and I do not know the answer to it, and you're a smart guy.
Oh, yes.
Figure it out for me.
Oh, here we go.
Listen. Here we go. They call Obama up to testify. I know you said President Trump said he's got diplomatic immunity.
Yep.
So they can't charge him with anything.
Yeah.
But they can still ask him questions, correct?
Correct. Because he's not facing criminal prosecution, he cannot take the Fifth Amendment. He has to tell the truth, or that would be a new crime.
Correct. Okay. I understand that part. So they ask him. Basically, I'm just guessing. I don't know. They say, President Obama, did John Brennan, did he lie to get President Trump indicted? Was that a lie? Did he see the true intelligence report knowing that Russia had no way were able to do this? And did he see that report and ditch it and come up with his own version?
Yeah.
And President Obama's got two options. He either says, yes, he lied, or no, he didn't. Is that correct?
Yeah,
basically?
I guess, yeah.
Okay. So if President Obama says, no, he did not lie, that's the truth, that really happened that way, then Obama's lying. And if Obama tells the truth and says, yeah, Brennan did lie, okay, then they go down a list. How about Comey? Yep, same thing. How about Clinton? Yep, same thing. How about Rice? Yeah, same thing. So then they say, okay, so everybody around you lied about that, but you didn't. You're in the room with all of them, and you didn't lie, but everybody else did. Is that how it would end up?
It could. That's a possible scenario.
That's you.
But
Okay,
Obama is not an idiot. These guys that become president are smooth, right? They're very smooth and arrogant and everything. So he's not the kind of guy that's going to be easily played on the witness stand. You know what I mean? It's going to be hard. You're not going to be able to walk him down some garden path.
Right. Okay. I just thought that was.
I've seen two other presidents give depositions. One was President Clinton in the Paula Jones matter. This was televised.
Right.
And the other one was President Reagan after he left office. And these presidents, they know how to handle it. They know how to handle it. You don't get to be president by being an idiot.
No, I know. That was my question. I'm just trying to figure out how he could get out of that, unless there's a third option. I didn't know what it was.
This is the thing people got to understand. You do not want them to try to prosecute Obama no matter what, even if he lies on the stand, because it would rally the Democrats together, and it would be very destructive. The Democrats aren't going to rally together for Brennan or Comey like they would Obama.
Right, I understand. But can you imagine just getting it all out there like that and say, okay, they all lied. You didn't. That's okay. You go, Obama. You're free to go. But the whole thing's out there. Yep, lied. Everybody in the room lied except me. Mm-hmm. But yet everybody knows he did. So you kind of get him without getting him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Obama is such a narcissist. I don't think he cares about these people going to prison. All he cares about is his immunity.
No, absolutely, without a doubt. Yep.
All right, take care.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right, well, I appreciate the call. Yeah, so I don't think Obama has any interest in lying for these people. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Nelson. I'm calling from the Tampa area.
All right, Tampa. What's
Florida.
up? What's up, Tampa?
I'm trying to figure out, based on what you say about that guy having immunity, I don't even want to say his name.
Obama.
He's gonna be a witness, right? So we're gonna use the information that he provided because he said he can take the test.
We don't need him to testify. We have all the documents.
No?
From his office detailing, we have all the documents about him ordering them to craft false intelligence reports, so they don't really need to call him.
Okay, so then after the grand jury, we're going to charge those people because we have enough information to charge them.
Correct.
And then my concern is with this deal that we have appeals and all that other stuff, is that going to happen and prolong the case for the next 5-10 years, like we do?
It could. People have the right to appeal. Sure, that's the system. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm just glad that it's coming out because I tell you honestly, back in 2015 when I saw Trump that he was going to run, and I say that's the man. I lost so many people and friends, and anybody you mentioned the word that you go for this guy down. They don't want to talk to you, but you know who wanted to hear what I have to say? My in-laws that came from Cuba. They ask me every day or every chance I have, what have you heard? Tell us what you're listening on the other side. Because they never really learned to dominate the English language.
Yeah.
All the information we hear was Univision and all those Spanish people.
Yeah.
There's a commentator there. His name, I think his name is Pepe. He would be talking in Spanish in favor of Trump and what's going on. But I'm glad this is happening so people can see what the heck's going on with our government.
Exactly. All right, I gotta run, but where's your accent from? This is not a Tampa Bay accent.
No, I'm from Puerto Rico, and my in-laws, my family is from Cuba.
Okay.
My in-laws, right?
Okay. All right, Puerto Rico. All right, Puerto Ricans for Trump and Tampa. Take care. Good to hear from you. I'm wearing a Trump T-shirt today, which is a really nice shirt. First time I've worn this shirt. It was sent to me by a listener. And, this particular shirt I'm wearing is a couple sizes smaller than the shirts I used to wear just a few short months ago, courtesy of Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And if you watch me online, you can see how much weight I've lost. And this shirt is like 2 sizes smaller than any of the shirts I've been wearing for a long time. And it fits so nice. And you can tell I've lost my entire I got a flat stomach. I'm a lot narrower than I used to be. It's really awesome. And, Coastal Weight Loss Secret, it's my, I lost about a pound a day. I lost 25 pounds in 3 weeks. That's normal with Coastal Weight Loss. A lot of people with Coastal Weight Loss Secret easily, like I do, lose 20 to 30 pounds in the first month. And you do that without taking any medications. If I had to tell you to take prescription medications like Ozempic, I hear people take injections, they take things in pill form. I wouldn't do that myself. And if I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to tell you guys to do it. Coastal Weight Loss Secret, you don't take any drugs. There's no injections. You eat foods you normally eat, and I didn't even exercise. Now, if I would have exercised, I would have lost the weight faster. But losing about a pound a day, 25 pounds in 3 weeks, over 25 pounds in a month, that's fast enough for me. And it worked out so well because now that I've lost all the weight I wanted to lose and more, I'm at the weight I was when I got married 29 years ago. I'm in the maintaining phase now. So because I didn't have any big lifestyle changes with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, maintaining is easy. Easy. Give them a call. And remember, they can help you lose weight no matter where you are located. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. If you're a Medicare recipient or about to turn 65, listen up. I want to talk to you about Medicare. Medicare, it's confusing. That's done on purpose, right? You go online, what do you find? More confusion. A lot of people, they try to go it alone or they deal with someone who doesn't really know what they're talking about, and what happens? It ends up costing them thousands of dollars sometimes each year. And also, they find out maybe their doctors or the medications, they might not be covered either. That's where Chapter comes in. Chapter is the only national Medicare advisor that compares all of the over 24,000 plans out there for you. They'll find the one that's right for you and your budget. And no matter where you are in the United States, Chapter can help. You're going to get answers, you're going to get them fast, and you're going to get them for free. So whether you're on Medicare right now or turning 65 soon, give Chapter a call. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. The number's also in the description of the episode. You're going to talk to a real person. They're going to walk you through everything step by step. No gimmicks, just real help. Because the right plan, it can save you thousands. Again, the number 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. Get your Medicare questions answered free. 805-754-3033. Your health and your wallet will thank you. All right, if you're on hold, stand by, guys. We'll be back soon. We'll go back to the calls. This is just awesome. This is awesome. This is a great day to celebrate, friends. A great day of celebration. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll go back to the phones. We'll be back in less than a minute, guys. Less than a minute. It is a great day. It's a beautiful day. All right, guys, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll go back to our phones. If you're just tuning in, we are celebrating Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States, has impaneled a grand jury with the Tulsi Gabbard criminal referrals from the Obama conspiracy files that have been declassified over the past 2.5 weeks, with names on it like Clapper, Comey, Brennan, Strzok, Biden, Loretta Lynch, and others. Hillary Rodham Clinton, and others. This is just an exciting time, guys. I got to tell you, and we are celebrating. Let's go back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Oh, hey, Jay. Hold on. My phones are ringing off the hook here. All right. We have 2 openings on the board. Yeah, go ahead, JJ.
Okay. Yeah, great day, first of all. It's a great week. It's, things are finally coming to fruition here. But I think some of these callers this morning, Brian, are, I don't know, I think they just got out of the Witness Protection Program. But, today, I don't mind them talking about the, Jeff's Democrat Island. But today, we're talking about Trump's, Democrat prison, courtesy of, we got Tulsi and Ratcliffe with the referrals, and, you got Pam, Cash, and Dan are just going to...
See, this is real now. This is real. This isn't none of these people, nothing's ever going to happen to these people. The grand jury brings indictments which lead to arrest. And John Solomon at Just the News is reporting his sources are telling him that they think the grand jury is in Florida, which is great.
It makes sense. You've got the lawfare. I mean, it's like a mini-series, what's been going on here. You've got the lawfare. We had machine guns at Mar-a-Lago. It sounds like the title to a movie. Then we've got Justice. Daddy's home and the Dems can't hide. And I think part 3 we're going to have the perp walks, and maybe 4 is convictions. Alaska Traz awaits. No heat. No
Alaska
mosquitoes.
Traz. Yeah, and
welcome.
And these liberal. I've been taking liberal callers. I took calls before the show even began on YouTube, and not one of them has addressed the grand jury, and they just they sound deranged.
Well, the big thing about this too, Brian, is there are good people in the federal government. There's some really good white hats in there, and when you're surrounded by all these liberal, communists, you really can't come. You can't come out of. I mean, if you come out of the closet, they just find a way to fire you.
Yeah.
So they hid and they waited. And here's the thing: with all this stuff, the whistleblowers. Listen, so there's plenty of whistleblowers. Number one, I think a lot of whistleblowers are going to be coming out. But also, you got to look at this like the totem pole, the bottom of the criminals. The people at the bottom of that totem pole. They're smelling the smoke and they're looking down and seeing the flames and the like, and they're raising their hand. Pam, I'll cooperate. Cut me a deal, please. They're in such panic because truth. The look on the faces of some of these people. It's like you see videos of shoplifters now actually getting arrested, and they have this look of like, huh? What do you mean? I can't steal. The Democrats are like, what do you mean?
Yes.
We can't commit treason. No, you can't commit treason.
No.
And what they did, it's seditious, it's treason, and I still 100% believe that Obama, to me, what we want, winning is winning the midterms and winning the next election.
Well, let me tell you this thing. I know everybody wants Obama. We all want Obama. Okay. I'll give you an example. What the Republicans have done in Texas is amazing, right? Greg Abbott, I saw him on he's ordered the arrest of Democrats, and they have districted Jasmine Crockett out of her district. And these are mostly black Democrats that have these funny districts that have weird shapes and stuff to them. And if you notice...
The gerrymandering,
yeah. And if you see the maps of some of these districts, they'll make you laugh. It's kind of like watching the constellations, how the stars go. And they flew on a private jet to Illinois. I don't know why these Texas Democrats are always heading to Illinois, but they got a special place in Illinois. And Greg Abbott said that that's a bribe, that they've taken bribes. He's ordered their arrest. And you notice here we are a day into this, the race card hasn't been played. And people are over that. You go after the first black president who has presidential immunity, according to President Trump. The race card will be in full effect. and all these people will go free. It's self-destructive to go after this guy. And I know that's not right, and justice is supposed to be blind and equal. Well, that's just BS, okay? It's not blind, and it's not equal.
The whole thing is, I know everybody wants the pound of flesh perp walk. We'll get some perp walks, okay, great. But to me, we have to really try to keep the emotion out of it and just look at exposing the truth brings so many of it brings Democrats out of their stupor, out of this learned, indoctrinated lies. They've been imprinted from youth, and they've just been taught and reinforced. And just a bit of trivia before we break up here, before I go. The gerrymandering. Do you know where that came from? The word gerrymandering.
I remember learning about it in school, but I don't remember.
Yeah, came from Boston. It was a state senate race, and they apparently this is back in like 1813, 1812. And they redrew a district, and it was and the papers, one of the newspapers of the time, made sarcastic humor out of it, that it looked like a salamander.
Mm-hmm.
And the governor at the time, his last name was Jerry.
Oh.
So they put the two together. They put Jerry and salamander. They call it gerrymander.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
I was shocked. Well, I found out. I've been doing a lot of research.
That's not what I learned in school. I would remember that. But yours is probably right. I was reading some liberal textbook.
I've been reading a little bit of the Old English from back in '60. I've been doing a lot of research in New England.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you this thing about these Texas Democrats, black Democrats that are freaking out in Texas. They've never had Republicans stand up to them before. They're used to bullying people. And they're not, and their bullying tactics aren't working. And now we know why Jasmine's been going ghetto the last few months. She knew
Al
this.
Sharpton, Jesse Jackson. See, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson's school of how to get away with crap.
Yeah, and they have found such a clever way to rid us of the poison that is Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. And
good riddance.
Good, yeah,
good
that's right. That's right. All right, I got to run, JJ. Appreciate the call. The rest of you on hold, you stand by. I want to take a moment to tell you guys about Dr. Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. You guys know he's rid me of pain 7 times. And so many people I've met in this audience that are living pain-free lives because of Dr. Appleton. His laser wave pain treatment works. We've had listeners travel from all over the United States to see Dr. Appleton. He's that good. If you've been in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall, any type of accident, you have pain from that accident, go see Dr. Appleton. I didn't realize this until Dr. Appleton told me, but he's treated me for 3 shoulder injuries. My knee injury was from a car accident. Now, my arthritis was just growing older that he rid me of. But most of the times Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain has been pain that I have from accidents I've been in. And of course, that would include car accidents, slips and falls, and all those things as well. So go see Dr. Appleton. Pain is not a part of growing older. I thought it was. I remember my grandparents in pain and suffering, the arthritis in the fingers that like I had, gone with the laser away pain treatment with Dr. Appleton. Dr. Appleton performs all the treatments himself. There's no drugs, no shots, no injections, no surgery, no downtime. It's 100% painless. It works. Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself, not an assistant, and appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain, just like I've done 7 times. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay, guys, I would appreciate that. I haven't got to any of my audio yet, but I'll get to it. Now, guys, one of our regular YouTube chatters, they had a book out. I told you about the flower story a few months ago. They got a new book, and they're really trying to help themselves and their family. And as opposed to do a GoFundMe, they're offering their book. And there's a link in the description of the video to their book. The one I was telling you guys about a while back is the flower story. But the new one is about a kid, little boy, going to the dentist. And you buy one of these books, you're really helping this guy out and his family. There's a link in the description of the video. And I also have it linked up on my X. And the website address to get the books is seanfeeneybooks.square.site. And that's SEANFEEENY. seanfeeneybooks.square.shop. But again, the direct link is in the description of the video. And if you could pick up those books, you would be helping this family out a lot. And I'd appreciate it as well. So thanks so much. Now, that's not the... I don't remember what I was taught in school about gerrymandering, but it wasn't that. Yeah, it says right here, 1812, Elbridge Gerry, the governor of Massachusetts. So what JJ said is right. The Boston Gazette published a satirical cartoon calling it Gerrymander. The name stuck. So I don't remember learning that in school, but JJ was right. Yeah, a link to those books is in the description of the video, and if you could pick one or both of them up, that would be, you'd really be helping them out. And I really would appreciate it, guys. We'll be back in less than a minute. All right, we're back. Callers on hold, stand by. I looked up during the break. JJ and Mass was right about the origin of gerrymandering. That is, I know that's not what I learned in school. I can't remember what they taught us in school. But if it was that, I would have remembered with the salamander. But that he was, I looked it up during the break. He is absolutely correct. All right, well, we're celebrating the grand jury indictments coming from Pam Bondi for the Obama conspirators. I'll take some more calls, and then I'm going to get into some of the audio sound bites on this and other things. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. Nope, they hung up. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Patty from New Jersey.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, so my opinion on this whole thing is that the Democrats have distorted almost every law that's on the books. And I don't care what color Obama is or anything like that. We need to look at what presidential immunity was meant for.
Let's talk about it, okay? I'm not saying that Obama didn't commit all these crimes. Don't misunderstand me, okay? But you understand going after the first black president would just destroy everything we got going on here. You understand that, right? And then nobody would get convicted, right?
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. When they went after Trump and tried to do all this stuff to him with absolutely no evidence at all, what happened? I mean, more people follow Trump. You know, Trump is obviously the more popular person in the United States. We all kept our cool and everything else. We'll get through it. But you know what? justice is justice. And what is this telling all of the black men and women and people in this country that are sitting in jail for stupid crimes, and they've been,
let me tell you.
Listen,
let me tell you. When the O.J. Simpson trial was going on, I was covering that on the radio, okay? And I often refer to that as the golden age of radio. But it was a crazy time. And when OJ, when at first, I was a lot younger then, guys, okay? We're talking about, the murder was in, 94? So I was like 23 years old.
Right.
So I was a lot younger then. And I just couldn't believe O.J. Simpson did this. Even during the Bronco chase, I just couldn't believe it. Because, I grew up on O.J. Simpson, mainly as an actor,
right.
Naked Gun and all that stuff, and Capricorn 1 and the TV, the car rental car. So, I couldn't believe it. But when the trial started and I saw the evidence, it was so clear that he did it. And he got acquitted. And I was surprised he got acquitted because the evidence was so clear. Because what everyone was assuming, and I'll tell you how that relates to this. Don't worry, guys. And everyone assumed that there was going to be a hung jury, and that they may try him again, or there would be a conviction that would be appealed, and that's why Alan Dershowitz was on the case. Alan Dershowitz is a famous appellate attorney, not just a regular attorney. He's an appellate attorney by trade. And then he got acquitted. And I remember being really ticked off about it on the air that day and the next day. And Steve, I've been with Steve a long time, and Steve said something that was so, at the time it didn't sink in, but he was right. He says, don't worry about OJ. He got away with killing 2 people. He'll screw up again. He'll end up in jail. And sure enough, he went to jail for 8 years on that kidnapping charge, right? So what I'm here to tell you is we're not going to get Obama on this. He has presidential immunity. President Trump says that. So he can, but the people around him getting convicted and going to prison is such a stain on his legacy and him. And his wife's going to leave him over this, okay? They're already on the verge of divorce. He's going to suffer and pay for this in many other ways. It's just not going to be in a jail cell, okay? It's just not going to be in a jail cell. And and OJ moved to Miami after he got away with murder, and he was an outcast. He was an outcast, big time here in Miami. Yep. And that's what's going to happen to when the truth comes out to the world in these trials. Obama, the armor is not going to be shining anymore. People are going to be disgusted by him. He's going to be like OJ. He's going to be a pariah.
Yeah, but my thing is that we live in a country where there should be equal justice under the law.
But there's not.
And but you know what? Like I said, they went after Trump for false allegations. They cooked up stuff, and we're not talking about something that it was a decision that he had to make under his presidency to protect us from foreign adversaries or anything like that. This was a crime against our most precious thing as an American is our voting system, and he committed a crime against every American.
And he's going to get, and he got away with it, and he's going to get away with it. But when these cases happen and everything comes out, okay,
it's about correcting the record. I agree with that.
Back to the OJ. I keep making the OJ comparison, and the reason I do is because he got away with it because he was a black guy who killed 2 white people, okay? That's why he got away with murder, okay? And that's it. And Obama being black is why he's getting away with treason, okay? It's not just presidential immunity. It's being a black Democrat, the first black Democrat president, too. So the concept's the same, but there's a famous video. You probably have seen it. If not, look it up online. OJ, after he gets away with murder, he's out walking around somewhere. A woman comes up and says, "Hey, I want to shake your hand." And then she says, "I've never shaken hands with a guy that got away with murdering 2 people." Remember that footage? That's what it's going to be like for Obama. He's not going to be the pristine, worshipped person that he has become. And that's what you're going to have to satisfy. Justice is not equal. It's not blind. And some people are connected enough to get away with stuff.
Well, you know, I just feel that we need to really look at what the presidential immunity is meant for. It's not meant for committing treason against our country. And they did say, I did hear some people say that committing treason is not included in that, but we'll see how it shakes out. But my feeling is that, you know, I'll be happy either way as long as the truth gets out there, the record is corrected, and so that everybody out there who ever doubted Trump with what he was saying can say, you know what, he was right and we were wrong, and more people stand behind the MAGA movement and move this country back to where it needs to be. Because we're not, you know, and I have this conversation with a lot of people, we are not, you know, the Republican Party of 15, 20 years ago.
That's right.
It's a new Republican Party, and we're trying to you know, reinstitute what our Constitution is supposed to mean in this country. We're trying to breathe some life back into our Constitution and get things going straight. And, you know, shame on all of these people who did this. You know, they...
Well, listen, I gotta run, but I do appreciate the call, Patty. All right, take care. You make some good points. And, you know, she's right. The country's changed. There's a story today. You may have seen it. The New York Post is starting a second newspaper. Did you guys hear about this? It's going to be in California. They're going to call it the California Post, or a variation of that. And that's a conservative newspaper. It's the best newspaper in America today. They cover all the rights. I don't always agree with their content, but they're very good. Miranda Devine writes for them. So why do you think the New York Post, which is Murdoch, why are they starting a California edition, the California Post? It'll probably have a more clever title than that. It's because I've been telling you guys, the country's so red now, so Republican. California's leaning red. There's an audience for that. If it was a liberal state, there wouldn't be a readership for the New York Post version for California. But there is. That's how red. That's how much things are changing in our country. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to get to some of the audio. Now, again, what I've been talking about this morning is Pam Bondi has a grand jury in place for the Obama coup conspirators. This is Nicole Wallace on MSNBC reporting on this yesterday.
Some more news breaking this hour to tell you about. Attorney General Pam Bondi has ordered a grand jury investigation into the so-called Russiagate conspiracy allegations made by the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. A senior Trump administration official confirms to NBC News. That investigation was first reported by Fox News. These are unsubstantiated and largely debunked allegations by the...
No, they're not. I mean, see, keep in mind, Nicole Wallace is a Republican. She worked for John McCain. And part of the reason she's upset is John McCain's name's going to come up. He was involved in this, but he's dead. So his name's going to come up. And a lot of these people might try to blame John McCain for everything because dead men tell no tales. And Nicole Wallace, I don't know if she was working for McCain during that time or not, but it's a big part of her identity that she worked for McCain.
These are unsubstantiated and largely debunked allegations by the Trump administration that former President Barack Obama and his aides in the intelligence community ordered a probe into the 2016 Trump campaign's connections to Russia.
It's all documented with and memorandums signed by Obama and the rest.
To ruin his chances of becoming president.
The
source tells NBC News that a letter signed by Pam Bondi instructs an unnamed federal prosecutor to begin presenting evidence to secure potential indictments, although it is unclear what the charges would be and exactly who the grand jury will be targeting. We'll stay on top of that story. Thank you for letting us into your homes.
Oh my goodness, she's depressed. That's a Republican establishment person right there. That's how the Bush Republicans are feeling. I want to tell you guys, this is awesome. I want to tell you guys about Friendly Tire in Margate. You know, listen, it's rainy season, and you don't want to be driving around any time of the year, but especially in rainy season with bald tires. And you know, before I found Friendly Tire in Margate like 15 years ago, maybe 20 at this point, I would drive on tires I should not be driving on because tires are expensive, man, everywhere else except Friendly Tire in Margate. At Friendly Tire in Margate, you can get tires, brand new tires, out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. And that's on common tires on some of the most popular vehicles on the road today. Not some car that nobody has, okay? Those are on for tires on some of the most common vehicles on the road today. And when I say as low as $75 out the door and on the road, remember, Friendly Tire does not charge you to mount, balance your tires, mount your tires, or dispose of your old tires. So when Friendly Mike gives you a quote over the phone, that is the out the door and on the road price. Give him a call. He's got all the name brands you know and love too. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. He also does tire repairs and has thousands of good used tires in stock at great prices, too. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be right back. All right, we'll be back in about a minute. I don't know what callers you've been counting. We've had a lot more than that. We've had... oh, gosh. Let's see here. Oh, no. There's been over... oh, I don't have time to count, but there's been about 80 people or so have called in. Mm-hmm. All right, we are back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Call us on hold, stand by. So let me tell you, there's a lot of news we haven't talked about too much today, but yesterday was crazy, okay? You know, and I was getting ready to do my podcast. And, you know, when I do my podcast, I live stream on YouTube. So I set it up in advance a little bit, like an hour in advance. And I had to I recorded a commercial with one of our listeners, Bruce, who he's a longtime listener, Bruce. I don't know if he's ever called in ever. So you guys that listen may not have heard Bruce, but he's a regular in our live chats and everything. And he's been a Steve Kane listener longer than I've been a part of the show. And he comes to our appearances and everything. He's a client of Joe Thomas. So I set up this show in advance because I have this recording session set up with Bruce, and I set it up. So I set the show up like an hour and a half, 2 hours early before the show was going to go live. So first, and when I do this, I have to do it on YouTube with a title and a thumbnail. The first I was going to talk about this story with Trump with Israel, which is an important story, which maybe Steve and I will talk about it in the next hour a little bit. And it was President Trump is not going to, he's going to cut off emergency funding to states who boycott Israel, which is the right thing for him to do. I don't want to get sidetracked. That was my first topic, I was going to be that. That was going to be the lead. And then that changed, like, in the story in Texas with the redistricting was really heating up. Governor Greg Abbott authorized the arrest of the fleeing Democrats. So then I changed it to that. And I did the recording with Bruce, and you'll be hearing that commercial on the radio either the end of this week or the beginning of next. And so then I set it up to talk about the Texas redistricting, which is very exciting too. And any one of these stories could be the whole show. And then I do the recording session with Bruce, which took like just 5 minutes. And then right after that, I look in the news, and boom, the story dropped of the Pam Bondi grand jury. And I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's like overload in every afternoon in Trump's second term with news. And it broke on the Will Kane show. You guys, I love Will Kane. He's I used to watch him on Fox on the weekends, and he's in Neil Cavuto's old slot. I hated Neil Cavuto. He's not missed. And Will Kane's show is spectacular. So I do watch Will Kane. At least I have him on in the background while I'm doing stuff. So Will Kane, he's on the air. And then the story drops of the Pam Bondi grand jury. Let me play this. This is from Will Kane yesterday.
Fox News can confirm that Attorney General Pam Bondi today signed an order directing an unnamed U.S. federal prosecutor to take evidence to a grand jury relating to an alleged conspiracy to tie then 2016 candidate Donald Trump to the country of Russia. Now, Fox News reviewed the one-page order just hours ago signed by the Attorney General. A source familiar with the probe confirms this as well, while a DOJ spokesperson declined to comment on this report of an investigation. Fox is told Attorney General Bondi is taking the referrals from Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, quote, very seriously. The spokesperson says that Bondi believes there is, quote, clear cause for deep concern, end quote, and a need for the next steps.
Yes.
Now, this move, Will, comes just a couple of weeks after the Director of National Intelligence, you see her right there, Tulsi Gabbard, sent a criminal referral to the Justice Department regarding what she says proves there was a conspiracy to undermine Trump's candidacy and later his first term in office. Now, to be clear today, there are no charges that have been filed, no indictments. This is incredibly early in the process. What we have here is taking evidence the Justice Department believes it has to a grand jury to secure an eventual indictment or indictments. We don't know exactly where the grand jury will meet. We don't know who will go before the grand jury, and that's by design, because grand juries determine if there's enough evidence to indict, and grand juries are secretive in the American legal system, so it's normal not to know all of the answers. Again, the DOJ declining on any comment regarding this investigation. But, Will, big news, this was signed by the Attorney General Pam Bondi today to take this evidence of an alleged conspiracy to a grand jury with the hope to get an indictment or multiple indictments.
Okay, yeah. So, and I saw that dropped in the afternoon, and I was like, oh man, we're going to party like it's 1999. And then we get from John Solomon at Just the News, who's been he's the Woodward and Bernstein of this, okay? The administration are leaking all the information to him, and everything he's reported so far has come true. But John Solomon yesterday reported that his sources are telling him that this Pam Bondi Obama coup grand jury is in Florida. Isn't that awesome? Not Virginia, not D.C., in Florida. I hope that's true. All right, let's go to the phones. We've heard from a lot of Democrats, a lot of liberals today. Not one of them has talked about the grand jury. They've been trying to talk about anything, but all of them have been incoherent, rambling, and nuts, but they like to bring up Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and they haven't even mentioned the grand jury. Let's find out, though. Maybe they've changed. Maybe the talking points have arrived in their inbox. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
No indictment. This is incredibly early in.
You're on the air.
Hello, Brian?
Yeah, turn down the volume in the background. Turn down the back. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, this is Dave in Royal Palm. You know, I agree with what you're saying about them not arresting, charging, and all that Obama. But what I'm hoping for, and you know Obama likes hope and change, what I'm hoping for is that after they get all this information out, little things like Obama gave USAID money of $40 million to Bernie Sanders to shut him up about Hillary in 2016. And if a whole treasure trove of this type of information comes out, I just have a feeling that the public, even as supporters, are going to be demanding that something happens.
Well, let me tell you, last week Hulk Hogan died, right? His daughter Brooke, not only wouldn't talk to him, he never met his grandchildren with her, and she refused to accept her inheritance. She doesn't even want his inheritance. Now, I don't know what happened between those two. It's pretty bad, whatever happened. And it may have had to do, a lot of people are saying that she never forgave him for whatever he did to their mother that led in their divorce. But, what I'm telling you is a lot of hardcore Democrats, when they find out what a scumbucket Obama is, when these cases happen and find out the things he did, he's not gonna be this perfect person to a lot of these people, and they're gonna be like Brooke Hogan with Hulk. They're gonna be disgusted by their guy because what he did is god awful.
He'll be a pariah, but I think when people, a lot of Democrats realize how much money he wasted and the things he did, I'm just hoping. I agree with you. You're probably right. But, I just want to have some of that Obama hope and hope he ends up in Colorado FedEx or something,
Well, he's got...
We can hope, right?
Listen, unless Michelle leaves him, he's got a life sentence living with Michelle Obama. That sounds awful. Would you rather be in a cell with Bubba or living with Michelle the rest of your life? I don't know. They're both pretty tough.
Oh, yeah, I agree. He's got a tough road, but I just hope it gets a little bit tougher. And I agree with you. I'm not debating, what your logic is on that. I think you're right. But again, we can hope, and hopefully, there's a lot more stuff that's really going to get the public insane about this guy. Hopefully.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call. Take care from Royal Palm. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where you call? Hold on. Let me answer. The phones are just ringing off the hook, guys. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, your recording server a little buzzed up. Anyhow, Scott from Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
And I have a couple of things on my mind. First of all, Hillary, will she? People have been after her since way back in Arkansas, and it's been one failed Acme product after another. She's gone through Benghazi hearings. She's gone through Trey Gowdy. It's just time that they got her.
Trey Gowdy's a fake. Trey Gowdy's a fake, okay? And what the heck? I saw him the other day on Fox. What he is such a weird, his hairstyle. I mean, he is a weird guy. But Hillary Clinton, if the documents that got declassified last week from Tulsi Gabbard and the Senate were the Radcliffe CIA director documents, and that was a very, very detailed walkthrough through memorandums of how Hillary and one of her senior campaign aides came up with the whole Russia hoax. So she gave birth to it, her and her aide. So yeah, she doesn't have presidential immunity. She could be one of the ones they get an indictment against.
Yeah, so she's got it. And as so far as Obama, I was pro Nixon way back before long when I was in grade school and junior high when they went after Nixon. I was a fan of Nixon. Anyhow, so all the president's men, people fell down around him. Nixon went into exile. Maybe that'll happen again to Obama, but will history repeat or rhyme itself?
Well, Nixon did very little wrong. That was a deep state coup, just like against President Trump, except it was successul with Nixon. And Trump stood up to him.
But Obama, I mean, well, people
listen. Being the first black president gives him a special. Yeah. He's always going to be remembered fondly in history. But he's not.
There'll be people who
and he's going to be put up on a pedestal in history because he's not only the first black president of the United States, he's the first black leader of a major nation. Okay? So he's going to have, but he's going to stop being wined and dined at the parties when some of this stuff comes out, I think. And he may find himself like O.J. Simpson, only hanging out with black people. And we know Obama doesn't like to hang out with black people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look where he lives.
Mm-hmm.
But will there be a generation, a young generation that will fervently,
I don't know,
want to vengeance for him, and
we'll find out.
Make trouble in the future.
You know, even though he's not facing criminal prosecution, he's not going to be happy with all these secrets coming out.
Yeah.
And more's going to come out than already has. All right, I appreciate the call. Take care. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, when Star Wars was in theaters in its original theatrical release, celebrating 49 years on the radio. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be back with Steve Kane after our break. Hey, what's up? Okay, hold on. Okay, you there, Steve?
Yes, I am.
All right, we got about 90 seconds. We'll be back.
Okay.
Oh, man. Gosh darn it. Can't find some copy. I've lost some copy. All right. Got it. All right, hour number 3 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Steve is joining us. We got a lot to cover and recap.
We're talking about a lot.
Oh my goodness, yeah,
Unbelievable. A plethora of news today.
I'm going to say something to you that you've said to callers many times. I would say that you got to get off the speakerphone, Steve. You're on a speakerphone. You got the speaker on. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have told you before we went on the air, but I was doing something else. But it happens. If you're on hold, stand by. Before we get back into the news, though, I want to talk about Wings Plus in Coral Springs. And oh man, I love Wings Plus, and I wanted to tell people how Wings Plus ended up on the program with us. I have been eating at Wings Plus for over 20 years. And Wings Plus, which is about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road in Coral Springs, is actually down the street from our old studio. If you remember, Steve, our old Adams World studio right down the street from Wings Plus. Did I lose you, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And, I had been eating there, like I said, for over 20 years. And we would get off the air at 9, and then we would go our separate ways. And I said, Steve, you got to go over there. You got to go and have these wings. And one day, for whatever reason, you had to hang out a little later. And you went over and had lunch at Wings Plus. And
I remember the story you're about to tell.
Yeah, and I
remember it well.
The next morning, you came into the studio carrying a menu from Wings Plus on Sample Road, and we started doing spots for them then, and we have been ever since. And they have been with us, Steve, for about 18 years.
I would say
the Steve
almost
Kane
20
show.
years. That's
Yeah,
true.
because I remember we did a live all-night broadcast on during the 2010 elections, and that was 15 years ago, and it was catered by Wings Plus, and they'd been with us for a long time then. So it could be 20 years. I'm saying 18 years because I'm being conservative. And I love Wings Plus. Like I say, I've been eating there long before they were a sponsor. And, the thing about their wings, I'm a big wings guy. I love wings, okay? I love wings. And there's a couple things that make the Wings Plus wings better and unlike any other wings you've had anywhere. Number one, everything is homemade. Nothing comes out of a can, and that includes the sauces for the wings. I usually get the medium hot, sometimes the lemon pepper, but they have, I don't know how many different types of wings, Steve. There's a long list.
The lemon pepper is the best.
They are very good. I like the medium hot and the lemon pepper, but there's dozens of different flavors. Nothing comes out of a can. Everything is homemade. Everything in the restaurant, the clam chowder, the chili, the everything, but also the wing sauces, homemade right there at the Sample Road location. That's one thing that sets them apart. Nothing comes out of a can or a bottle. The other thing is this. These wings are filled with chicken. You go to a lot of places, because I've had wings everywhere before I found Wings Plus. They're heavily breaded with a little grizzle underneath and not really too much chicken, and they disguise it with the breading and the sauces, right? At Wings Plus, everything's homemade, and they're just filled. I don't know what would be the description. If I would say meaty, but it's not meat because it's chicken. They're filled with chicken, so it's really good, and everything just tastes great. So, listen, Wings Plus, they've been with us for many, many years. Their address is 20. Well, let me just tell you the directions instead of the address. It's about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. You can't miss it, and you'll love it.
By the way, we're coming in with one of the other things you should remember. We're coming into football season, and Wings Plus is the greatest on Saturdays for the college games and Sunday for the pro games. Great place to watch football while you munch on the most delightful wings you have ever tasted in your life, bar none.
Yeah,
incredible.
And also, they're good conservative people. That's where Wings Plus on Sample Road is where we had our inauguration celebration. The Bye Bye Biden, Hello Trump second term, and it was standing room only. So
what do we say? It's where the politically elites meet.
Yeah, that's right. So stop in and make sure you tell them you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. All right. Our phones are really busy, Steve. There's a lot going on. The big story is what I've been covering, and there's other stories I haven't covered, but I want to recap the big story. Pam Bondi has a grand jury in place from the Tulsi Gabbard criminal referrals, which are the Obama coup conspirators. We don't know if it's an indictment or one or many or who. is going in front of the grand jury, but indictments mean a grand jury.
I think we're all major players. I think it's going to be all of them, except Obama's senior. It's not going to. We won't give him because of the presidential exemption.
Yeah.
But everybody else, I think, better be prepared. What is it, John Connie used to say? To go off to see the wizard.
Yeah, and this is another thing. John Solomon, who's been the front man on all of this, okay, and he's been right on all his reporting. John Solomon from Just the News said last night, Steve, his sources are telling him that this grand jury is in Florida because of the Mar-a-Lago break-in. Great. So, yeah, so you and I could be in the jury pool for like Hillary's trial, Comey's trial. Let me ask you, if I get called for jury duty, say like in Brennan's trial or Hillary, should I wear my Make America Great Again hat when I show up, or should I leave it in the car?
Only if you want to get blackballed right away.
Well, exactly. So I'm glad it's in Florida. Where in Florida, I don't know. And it hasn't been confirmed in Florida because, grand juries are secret. And unlike the Democrats, Pam Bondi's not leaking. So all you...
As long as it's outside of Washington.
Yeah. Well, I was glad to hear. Now again, that hasn't been confirmed, but the news of the grand jury came down like 2 days after Judge Jeanine's confirmation was completed as the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. So I thought, were they waiting on her? But if it's in Florida, she wouldn't be the prosecutor. It's out of her jurisdiction. All right. Now I must, before we go to the phones, I've been taking calls for over 2 hours, Steve. We've heard from a lot of Democrats. At different stages of de-evolution. But none of them have mentioned the grand jury. Most of them have mentioned Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and that's about it. They're trying to tune this out. So let's go to the phones. Maybe we'll get one Democrat who's gotten the grand jury talking points straight.
Let's see the writing on the wall.
Yeah, let's go. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Chris from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Chris.
I just wanted to mention, that whole, what do you call it? They're spending $100 million, of course, to, master manipulate their marketing.
That's right.
As far as giving a party a boost. But, and again, we always talk about this. They the sold or told that there's really no reason to put up with any of this current leadership, because if it's not treasonous, it's communist, it's socialist. And, I know they have a few seats at the Democrat table, those LGBT and all those other things, because they get things done when they're in office. But, they're spending all that money because their key strategy is always still going to be to get you to call yourself a Democrat, so that right, wrong, or indifferent, you are okay with whatever they do, and that's just not right.
Well, by the way, what you're referencing, there's a story that came out early this morning. The DNC is going to spend $110 million to pay online influencers to peddle their message and spin on everything.
Yeah, I understand that.
And I wonder if any of these so-called conservative influencers are going to get some of that DNC money. These ones that are obsessed with Epstein, and now they're fed up with Trump. There's a lot of fake MAGA out there. I wouldn't be surprised that's going to get some of that DNC cash.
I don't think there's enough money in the Treasury to save the Democrats. That's
no.
For sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh, yeah, we call that deep state. But that's why, it's obvious why they had to become very desperate and do what they did to try and keep President Trump out of office, because shortly thereafter it came out how much there was to hide. I mean, look, we all knew there was a state-run media, but now we knew how much they were getting paid. Thank you for the Doge, but it's just not right.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'm glad it's all being exposed.
All right. Well, good to hear from you. Take care. That caller we just had, he was at Wings Plus with us, Steve. He was sitting at the table next to mine on Inauguration Day. Oh. Yeah. Small world. All right. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. Lake Worth here.
Hey, Lake Worth.
Now, real quick, Brian. I just got 2 seconds here.
Mm-hmm.
So Obama was not our first black president.
Oh, who?
Obama.
Okay, who was?
Obama was our first mixed president, not our first black president.
Goodness. Okay. Whatever.
Realistically,
Whatever.
you got to
Whatever.
think. You got to think of it that way.
Whatever. No, listen.
Wouldn't it be more accurate to say he was our first tan president?
Yeah, he's. Believe me, if he's facing being discredited, he'll emphasize that he's African American more and more each day as the evidence starts to come out.
Well, he's still got that white in him. So
no, it's going to be. Listen, it's going to come down as the first black president. That's how the history will remember him. First black president.
Yeah, but that's not accurate. If I'm white,
who is 100% these days?
Exactly. I mean, I don't say I'm Egyptian because I've got 4% of Egyptian blood in me.
Obama has more than 4%.
I got a question for you. Is this what you think of at night when you're falling asleep?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, only in the morning.
People are?
Only in the morning.
Only in the morning.
So,
okay.
Anyway,
well, thank you very much.
You guys go.
Material.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Let me take one more call, Steve, then we'll break. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Mike from Houston. How are you?
All right, Mike.
Hey, I hope you can hear me over the sound of the surf. I'm down here on Galveston.
Oh, okay.
On the Gulf of America.
Yes.
On the Gulf of America.
Yes.
I just wanted to say, I'm inclined to agree with you. I think it would be unwise for us to shoot too high and to go after Obama because we'll just wind up galvanizing the left the way they galvanized us when they came after President Trump.
History. I mean, he's exempt because of the laws that were passed under our president, as a matter of fact.
Supreme Court ruled it.
So that he'll get away with, but his reputation will not go unsullied, that's for sure.
Exactly. History will adjudicate Obama far more harshly than any court ever could. And so, like you were saying earlier, Brian, other things are going to come out. Like I said, his reputation is totally sullied at this point. And the other thing I'd like to point out is we applied the same standard, if you will, at the end of the Civil War. We did not go after Jeff Davis. We did not go after Robert E. Lee. We just said, okay, the matter's settled. But their reputations were pretty much... Well,
and by the way, the reason they didn't go after Robert E. Lee or Jefferson Davis is because it would have been so... the war was over, it would have been so divisive. No one's going to get divided over Comey and Brennan and Clapper.
Really good point. Yeah, it would just open up. And by the way, it would have driven the wedge or the divide even further because now you're talking about going after individuals.
And by the way, they probably were. And Jefferson Davis was probably involved with Booth killing Lincoln, and they knew it. And so you gotta choose your battles in life.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I said, history will be the ultimate arbiter and decider.
But let me tell you,
you're not looking good for Obama's legacy.
You're calling from Texas. Your governor is so cool. Did you see? Governor Greg Abbott, is so amazing, and he authorized the arrest of these Democrats in Texas, and he says they took bribes, that they've committed felonies. I mean, he was so excited with him yesterday.
I'm delighted with it. This notion of I'm going to take my marbles and go home
to Illinois,
which is how but little children, instead of staying and saying, all right, let's see if we can work something out here. Let's see if we can. Because remember, they're the first to always harangue us. Oh well, you got to participate, you got to step up, you got to play a role. But when it's their turn, they just pick up their marbles and go home sobbing and crying to mommy.
And what Governor Greg Abbott did is so brilliant. First off, districting Jasmine Crockett out of her district. That's beautiful. And then these radical black districts, he redistricted them into Hispanic districts, so they're still minority districts. Yeah. I mean, it was masterful. I don't know who was behind everything in Texas, but it was masterful. And I saw Greg Abbott on Fox yesterday, and he says these Democrats have committed felonies. And the person interviewing said, "What felonies?" He said, "Bribery." And he started, I was like, oh my goodness. And I kept the TV on all day after that. It was, listen, I got to run. We're so late for the break that I'm going to get reamed out after the show. All right, take care. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. We'll be right back. Yep. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, we got 20 seconds. All right,
okay.
There we go. Oh, that's better. Oh, my gosh. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. You back with us, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we got the connection fixed. Now I can hear you. All right, we are back. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, please do. There's some other stories that are pretty big that are out. I wanted to mention, before we go back to Texas, the story with There's two stories with Israel today. And they're both good stories. Okay, first, did you see the story yesterday, Steve? Trump is going to cut off emergency FEMA funds from states that boycott Israel. Did you see that story?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it dropped right before the grand jury story. So before it took off, the grand jury, the Bondi Obama coup conspiracy grand jury story, took that out of the headlines. So President Trump released yesterday, there are blue states are boycotting Israel. Can you believe this? I mean, it's insane. And
I believe it.
Trump said he's going to cut off emergency federal funding from states that boycott Israel. And the left are like, well, how dare he cut off aid to an American state over the needs of another country? The reason he's doing this is because what these states are doing is meddling in U.S. foreign policy. Just like these judges that make rulings trying to overrule Trump's executive orders or such. These blue states are getting in. It's a violation of that Hatch Act they're always talking about. Meddling in foreign policy.
You do have to give him credit for being creative in terms of using his office to maximum influence.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a master of that.
Yeah, and these Democrats, and you see this in Texas. The Democrats are not accustomed to Republicans standing up to them. The Democrats, usually a Republican will take a stand, like this thing that's happening in Texas. If this were in the 90s, okay, and the Republicans did redistricting, which they should do. You're supposed to do this. Every state does redistricting, and the redistricting, it's done every 10 years, sometimes less frequently. It's done to benefit the party in power. You're supposed to do that. That's why that's the main reason we have state legislatures, is for the redistricting. And the state doesn't lose representation in Congress. They just move the districts around. That's what you're supposed to do.
Just get a different kind of representation.
Exactly, like actual representation. And what usually happens if the Democrats if the Republicans did this and the Democrats pulled off this "we're going to Illinois" thing, usually what happens, they get sharped in.
I think they pulled it off, isn't it? Hasn't it been done?
Yeah, we've won it. We've won. The Democrats have lost. But what would have happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they would pull out the race card. Oh, you can't do this. We're black. We're losing our representation. And the Republicans would cave and apologize. And the Democrats would end up with more seats than they started with. But they're standing up to them now. And they're not accustomed to it. And the race card, it doesn't work anymore. We're in another, it's really amazing. We're in a post-racial society. I know it doesn't seem that way a lot, but we are. And Jasmine Crockett, who's a poison person, no one even cares that she's been districted out of her seat. It's not working.
She's become a punchline.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And she's a lot larger because every time you see her, she's gained another 5 or 10 pounds. She really needs to call Coastal Weight Loss Secret, but she's obviously depressed, and she's trying to find relief with food and maybe booze. I don't know, but so they're not used to Republicans standing up to them, Democrats. And this FEMA thing with Trump over blue state boycotts. There was a big issue. I mentioned this yesterday before you were on, but I want to bring it up again. DeSantis, what he did in the last couple of days in Florida is amazing. Orange County is a Democrat county. They passed a local ordinance saying we're not going to turn illegals over to Alligator Alcatraz. DeSantis came out and said that's illegal. Sanctuary city, sanctuary county, sanctuary governments are illegal in Florida. If you refuse to send them to Alligator Alcatraz, I'm going to remove.
Federal aid.
No, DeSantis said, I'm going to remove each and every one of you from office. I'm going to remove the entire county commission of Orange County. The next day, they reversed it, passed a new ordinance, and they're sending their illegals to Alligator Alcatraz. Yesterday, Governor Greg Abbott issued an arrest order on the Democrats, right? The state legislature locked the doors, and Abbott issued arrest warrants, authorized the arrest. So the Democrats are not accustomed to being stood up to and fought against. They're used to Republicans caving because they don't want to be called a racist or something. And they have, when you stand up to the bully, they cower out. They got nowhere to go. And we're winning over and over again. Now, the other story on Israel, Netanyahu released the beginning of his solution. I don't know if I should use solution when I'm talking about Jews, but his next his way to end the war. He said they're going to take Gaza and occupy it permanently. That's what came out. So Israel's going to take Gaza and occupy it. That's what's come out.
They're going to take control of the Gaza Strip
and occupy it and keep it. Yeah, that's what came out this morning, early this morning.
Turn it into the mid. I forgot.
Well, Trump was going to turn it into a resort destination.
Yes, right. The Las Vegas of the Mideast.
Yeah, they were calling it the Riviera of the Mideast. Yeah. So they had a name for it that had MAGA in it. The MAGA Riviera, I don't know, but the MAGA Strip. No, they were calling it the MAGA Strip. That's what they were calling it, the MAGA Strip. I don't know. I don't know what that means, but they're going to take Gaza and occupy it. And
when does this start?
I don't know. They just announced that's their plan. I apologize for saying their solution, guys. Okay.
So that's going to be a fait accompli after
it looks
a couple
like it.
Days.
It looks like it. And if Trump was not in office, Netanyahu wouldn't be able to do that because public pressure would be on Israel so heavy, like these states boycotting Israel, that they would have to make a deal with these terrorists again. And he says, no deal. We're taking it and we're going to occupy it. You're done. We're not. You're not going to be taking our women and raping them and murdering them and taking hostages. I mean, what are they supposed to do? That I cannot even watch the photos and videos of that hostage they have that looks like he came from Auschwitz, that they have digging his own grave.
A picture on the front page of the New York Post.
I can't watch it. I can't watch it. It's disgusting. What is Israel supposed to do? They got to take it. And I'm glad that they're not making a deal with these terrorists. All right. Let's take our break for the bottom of the hour and be back. We'll be back in 2 minutes, guys. All right, Steve, you there?
I'm here.
We've got about 90 seconds.
I got a good place to come in.
Okay. About 30 seconds. One more.
Okay.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. It's the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show. You had somewhere you wanted to go, Steve?
Yeah, well, one thing I don't think we made clear, when we talk about Israel taking over the Gaza Strip, you realize that at that point, that's the moment at which probably we lose the hostages. You understand that, right?
I mean, how many people are being lost? You mean?
Well, I'm not arguing good or bad. I'm just saying it's
maybe
we made it sound like we were liberating the hostages. I mean, that's what the hostages are there for, to deter an invasion by Israel. If Israel makes a military move, which I'm sure they've got planned out in their heads, they're going to try to save the hostages, but that's when the existence of the hostages becomes problematic.
Well, some of the people might turn the hostages over in exchange for living.
Not from what I'm hearing about the way the hostages are being treated.
Yeah, pretty bad. Maybe they think they're gone already. There's nothing that can be done to save them.
Well, but when you think about it, that's the only end.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what Trump was.
These guys aren't going to get a guilty conscience and say, "Gee, we're sorry. We didn't mean to inconvenience you for the last year or whatever it is, but have a nice life."
I hear a lot of conservatives, they don't understand Israel. And I love Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she doesn't know what she's talking about when it comes to Israel. And she's talking about leaving the MAGA movement and the Republican Party over Israel. I mean, she just doesn't understand what she's talking about. The Palestinians, all these countries in the Middle East, Syria has, I think, the most. I could be wrong about that. But Syria, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, these Middle Eastern countries are filled with Palestinians. The reason that there's Palestinians in and around Israel, like in Gaza, is to constantly harass the Jews. They're there to be terrorists, okay? So what Trump was talking about doing, remember this, when this first started, was rounding up all the Palestinians and deporting them to Egypt and maybe even Syria. And President Trump made friends with that ex-terrorist that runs Syria now. Remember he met with him and everything?
Yeah, but Hamas didn't go for it.
Well, I don't know. Hamas probably be a lot smaller than they used to be by the time this is done. I think if they're going to take Gaza, they're going to take out as much of Hamas as they can. Their membership numbers are going to dwindle when Israel takes Gaza and occupies it.
When you think about it, that's the good news and the bad news. The bad news is there's really no other way for it to end.
That's right.
These guys aren't going to see these butchers in Hamas are not going to see the light.
That's right.
But basically, it's going to end when Netanyahu makes the move and the waiting game is over. They're going to go in and do the best they can.
And a lot of times I hear people, and it pains me to say anything critical of Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's so awesome, but she doesn't know what she's talking about with this. Marjorie Taylor Greene and other MAGA Republicans that are giving Trump a hard time over Israel, they say, America first, this is not America. Israel, they confuse in their mind the Ukraine situation with Israel. We don't give Israel these weapons. They buy them from us. Ukraine, we just give them everything. They're like welfare recipients. Israel buys them from us. Now, there's foreign aid, but they buy them from us. We don't give them the weapons. And we don't have people on the ground over there fighting. And we do have people on the ground in Ukraine. Even though people don't talk about it, we do. All these high-level weapon systems we give them are in English, not Ukrainian. Our people are in there operating them. I promise you. We have people on the ground and have for the whole time, probably in Ukraine. So it's a whole nother situation. There's a lot of equating the Ukraine-Russia situation with Israel. There's no comparison at all. And being America first does not mean being an isolationist. Since when does that mean being an isolationist? I don't get it. I don't get. But there's a big wave of anti-Israeli anti-Semitism in this country going on, and sadly, there's a lot of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene who unknowingly are promoting that because they don't understand
Hamas
it.
has been riding that wave for a long time, and that wave is going to keep going until it crashes on the beach.
Now, I was telling you guys yesterday, I mentioned this earlier, Steve, but I wanted to bring it up with you. This is amazing. I was mentioning the other day that California is on its way to becoming a battleground toss-up state in the presidential elections. I played on the air yesterday morning. There's an ER nurse from Los Angeles. They got no patients in the ER, Steve. 4 or 5 an hour if it's busy, because the illegals are gone, and they're not filling up the ERs as free clinics anymore and all this stuff. And there have been so many deportations and self-deportations. Mel Gibson may end up being the governor of California. Can you believe that? I mean,
wouldn't that be nice?
Well, all this relief after the Malibu fires has changed things too. And California in the next presidential election or two could very well become a battleground toss-up state. It's not so solid blue anymore. And a lot of it is there's always been a lot of Republicans in California, But they haven't been active because they figure, what's the point? We got all these illegals here messing around. Why do we even bother? So now they're being energized. They have something. And I saw this morning, this is what I mentioned earlier. I should have saved this for you. The New York Post is starting a second newspaper in California.
I know, I saw it.
In California. I don't know what name of, it's being called the California Post now, I guess. Or but it is
yes.
They are not setting up a conservative-based newspaper in California because there's not people out there who want to consume the news. There's now enough conservatives out there that want that, and they want a conservative California newspaper. That's why they're doing it. And that's a sign that that California is moving into Tulsa battleground state status in the next election cycle or two, like either in 28 or 2032. Who would have thought? We never thought there was a chance to get California gave us Nixon and he gave us Reagan, and we had written California off. Do you know if we take California, Steve, the Democrats are done. Done.
Oh yeah.
California.
Absolutely.
California
the party's over.
Yeah, California is to Democrats what Texas or Florida are to the Republicans. And if they lose the electoral votes of California, they are done. And this is a great thing. I mean, this is so exciting. And when I saw about the New York Post starting a new newspaper, first off, who starts newspapers up in 2025? Nobody, right? That tells you there's really a market for it. If you're starting a newspaper and it's conservative in California, and that'll probably become the most read newspaper in America. Everyone's going to read that. It's gonna compete with the New York Post. It is, because it's going to be good. People are going to be they're going to be starving for that. I can't wait. But that's Trump. That's Trump, right? I mean, Trump is. I say that
absolutely.
Trump is an inspiration.
Now you can see. Can you see if you use your imagination, project it into the future? You can see how in a couple of years, as the election and the next election approaches, you can see where Trump is going to say, well, we're so close to getting back to where we control everything. This is not a time to let the president go.
That's right.
And they'll get another term for our president.
See, that's how Roosevelt stayed in office and got elected 4 times. We had the Depression, we had the war, and they said it's just not a good time to change presidents. There's too much going on.
It's a very good time to change it. No, you're right. You're right. You put it well.
Yeah, and I can see a national call. And if you notice, this redistricting in Texas is going to inspire redistricting everywhere, because the Democrats have been gerrymandering even here in Florida. When you see, they don't like to show the district maps too much because they look weird. They look like snakes going through states. And it's always the Democrat districts going, and it's bizarre, and people are tired of it. The liberal blacks still want you to think it's 1968. Civil rights movement's over. We're past that. And I was talking yesterday. Sydney Sweeney. We find out she's MAGA. She registered as a Republican in Florida in 2024. Sydney Sweeney's MAGA. She's the it girl right now. She's the hot actress in Hollywood, the #1 actress in Hollywood. And when you have the #1 actress in Hollywood, MAGA, and out of the closet about it, the country's changed.
I was reading about Sydney, and is it true that what's she been in? She's not an actress.
Yeah, she is. She's been in a lot of movies. We just haven't seen them. Mostly those romantic comedies that you and I don't watch. Yeah. I've seen her in 1 or 2 things. She's not a very good actress, but but she's MAGA.
She doesn't have to be.
Yeah, exactly. And now that she's MAGA, I might go see all her movies now, Steve. Now that we know she's MAGA. But no,
they take the seat right next to Donald.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that tells you how conservative the country has gotten. You have the #1 box office draw in Hollywood is out of the closet MAGA. She registered as Republican in Florida last year. Okay, you have the New York Post starting a conservative newspaper in California. Mel Gibson, who's Republican, it looks like he's actually considering becoming their next governor. And Kamala dropped out because she knows the Democrats going to have a difficult time winning, and she doesn't want to be a 2-time in a row loser, and that's why she dropped out. Now, I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I'm wearing a shirt today that was sent to me at the radio station by a listener. It's a Trump shirt. It's a pretty good shirt. I can't say what it says on the air, Steve. It's got some salty language in it, but it's pretty cool. And this shirt is about 2, maybe 3 sizes smaller than the T-shirts I was just wearing a few months ago because of Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I lost about a pound a day. I lost 25 pounds in 3 weeks, lost about 30 in a month. That is typical with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. That is not unusual. And I did that without any exercise or eating funny foods or starving myself. But I also did that without any injections or prescription medications or pills or anything. Okay? It was done all natural. And you can do the same. Give them a call. My results are not unusual. They're quite usual. You give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. And remember, no matter where you are in the United States, they can help you. The number's 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll take our last break of the day and be back with a gold report. All right, I'm going to put you on hold for a minute, Steve, to get William.
Okay, Mike.
Hey there, we got about 30 seconds. Hold on. All right, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to conference William. Okay, we've got 20 seconds. Stand by.
Okay.
All right, we're back, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with this morning's gold and precious metals report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking on this Tuesday?
Metals are still stable, nicely above $3,350 on gold. Yesterday we saw a $10.40 rally on gold, closing out the day at $3,371.90. Silver gained 30 cents, closing out the day at $37.26. Platinum was up $14 at $1,329 a ounce, and palladium was down $9 at $11.99. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $33.50 on the low up to $33.82 on the high. And right now we're down $8.90 at $3,363 a ounce. Silver is up 9 cents at $37.45, while platinum is down $14 at $1,315 the ounce. And palladium is down $19 at $1,180. So metals still trading in the ranges we've seen for quite a while, especially gold, and still giving us opportunities to accumulate at these seemingly lower prices.
Yeah, what's the most popular items people are picking up with gold these days? These are great prices.
Yeah, gold is, we're seeing a lot of actually bar activity. A lot
Really?
of 1 ounce and 10 ounce bars being purchased. And also, of course, the Eagles, which have now a lower premium than they used to have. So Eagles are very good values. The 1 ounce pure gold buffaloes from the United States are very popular. And of course, most of all the silver products are still the U.S. Silver Eagles are very, very popular.
That's interesting because those everything you mentioned are the most popular gold and silver products. The American Gold Eagle, the American Gold Buffalo, and the American Silver Eagle. Those are the most popular. They're doing well. Now, when it comes to the gold bars, the 1 ounce and what's the other size ounce gold bar that is flying off the shelves?
Yeah, 1 ounce and 10 ounce bars.
Yeah, yeah. So, see, William Youngerman has everything. And all these things that we talk about are available for immediate delivery with William Youngerman as well. Stop in. His address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can give him a call, and remember, he opens up at 10 a.m., 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. And find both his address and phone number online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. All right, you back with us, Steve?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's take a call or two. We've got a couple more things to go over, but you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian. Oh, well, hold on,
Hey,
Brian.
Brian.
Hold on 1 second. My phones are just ringing like mad. Okay, I'm sorry. See, we lost it. Okay, you there, Steve?
I'm here.
Okay, we got you. Go ahead, Brian.
I was just saying, it's amazing how many huge political stories we have. It's just incredible. The thing about Gaza, this is not going to go away quickly. This is going to be a difficult thing for Israel. Yeah, it's really going to be something. Did either one of you see the endorsement from Pocahontas for Zohan, the communist, for mayor of New York yesterday?
Yeah, I did.
Was that a disgrace? What a disgrace!
Yeah.
Both of them.
But she's the first Democrat. She's the first Democrat to really come out and support him.
Yeah, she did a real number supporting him big time. I mean, there's something about that woman. I can't stand to watch her on television.
Well, she's a fraud. And,
she is a fraud.
She had that. I can't remember if it was Harvard or Yale she taught at, but she had that professorship based on being a Native American Indian. She committed fraud.
Yeah, it was Harvard.
Yeah, it was Harvard. Yeah, she committed fraud, and that's got to be a financial crime.
Well, you would think so. I think she was 1% Indian, so she got in on the affirmative action and all that. This woman is, well, I could say something, but I don't. It's just a disgrace.
She's a communist. If if you remember, she came up with one of Obama's big phrases. You didn't build that. When she ran for the Senate the first time, she came up with that. She said, "If you own a factory, you didn't build that. It was built by people educated in the public schools, and the construction crews drove there on roads built by the public." Remember all that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, she is the mother of democratic socialism. She's a communist who also happens to be a multimillionaire like all the good commies.
Absolutely. We want to see where all this money came from too for our civil servants. I mean, the whole thing is a disgrace. But this grand jury in Florida, these are incredible stories that are breaking now around the clock. And for people who are really into the political scene, what a time to be alive. It's just amazing.
This is like that's why I was talking about OJ. Okay? This is like the OJ Simpson period. This is the most exciting political news time probably since Watergate when I was a baby.
Well, it's going to last. It's going to last for quite a while. I mean, these stories are major stories. Winning the governor of California, Mel Gibson. Holy mackerel!
Yeah, and you know what? And I'll tell you another thing that's going to be big. This redistricting in Texas, which is at an unusual time, we're going to find that's going to take place in other places like Florida.
Yeah. Well, I have Governor Abbott as one of my top 3 governors in the United States right now. He is just sensational.
Well,
He's got tremendous courage.
This sorry to interrupt. We're short on time, and I want to get this stuff out. This grand jury in Florida, there was a name that I didn't mention earlier that came out on the classified briefings that was involved. Okay. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was mentioned in the declassified stuff last week, if you remember. Could she be in?
I did. I heard her name.
Could Debbie Wasserman Schultz be in front of this grand jury?
I think she could. I forgot. I didn't get the whole story. I think it was about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she was something about, I think she could be up to her neck in something here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be
Not a nice person. Oh, yes. There is justice, I hope. I just wish we would go all the way to the top. But, yes, major political stories, and they're going to be around for quite a while here, so it's great. And having our great president there leading the way for us, we couldn't ask for anything more.
All right, appreciate the call. All right, take care.
You're
Some
welcome.
good call. No good liberal today yet, though. The liberals have been... before we go back to the phones, I want to tell you guys about the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's. This is for a limited time, guys. Take advantage of it while it's here. You can get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. But that's not all. Sloman's, they're also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost, Central Station Monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for your doors and windows, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, plus you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call. Here's the number. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. All right, back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Jack. How are you guys doing?
All right.
Good.
Okay. I wanted to kind of reply about what you said about how Trump wants to cut FEMA from states that won't support Israel.
No, there's blue states that have announced boycotts of Israel, and he said for U.S. states that are boycotting Israel.
FEMA isn't political. It's about saving lives.
Oh, really?
No,
Tell that to the people in North Carolina and under Biden's watch. That remember they had the FEMA supervisor who told her workers don't go to the houses that have MAGA Trump signs and American flags. Avoid MAGA houses. That's pretty partisan political to me.
You know that's correct, and you know that person was punished. Anyway.
But they still did it. They did it.
Brian, withdrawing FEMA aid punishes families and not...
I know, I know. You guys all care about families. I know.
I mean, do you want the United States to suffer like the Palestinians when you cut FEMA aid? Do you understand how bad that would be?
You're a Floridian. Listen, you're a Floridian. I'm a Floridian. Steve's a Floridian. So we have all been through hurricanes time and time again. I've never had FEMA help. Have you?
I actually have.
What'd they do for you? What'd they do for you? Tell me what FEMA did for you. I know you haven't had FEMA help, have you, Steve?
No.
What did FEMA do for you? And
I had part of the side of my home destroyed by one of the hurricanes.
Which one?
Which
one?
I did help from it.
Which one?
Which one was it?
A hurricane took out half your house. You don't remember which one? I'm calling BS on this story already. But go ahead.
I had damage from Irma. I had.
Oh my! Now he's come up with names. So okay. So you lost half your house. You couldn't remember what hurricane it was. So now you're just throwing out random hurricanes.
Brian, you are just trying to deflect.
No, I'm not trying to deflect. So FEMA came out to your house and did what? In this BS story.
FEMA assessed my home's damage. They helped me repair my home after.
How did they repair your home? How did they
help me repair my home?
That's the
They sent
question.
me a check that I could cover my deductible to fix my
How
home.
much money did FEMA give you?
About $2,000.
About $2,000. You lost half your house. They gave you $2,000.
No, I never said I lost half my house. You said that.
How much of your house did you lose? How much of your house got ripped away?
Part of the wall of my house.
Part of the wall of your house. So So part of the wall got ripped away when this fictitious. Hold on a second here. When this fictitious hurricane took away the part of the wall of your house, what did your family do with those hurricane strength winds that were now entering your home?
We had to go to another place. We had to go to a
during the hurricane.
hotel.
Just such BS. You don't go to another place during a hurricane. Oh my God, I gotta let him go, Steve. I can't live out his cosplay fantasy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Liberals just have no dignity. I mean, they don't mind lying. If a hurricane takes out part of your house, believe me, you don't have to think about the hurricane, and then you don't start off listing random hurricanes. Well, Irma was like 18 years ago. Irma was the one that hit when we first met William Youngerman, Steve. Like 20 years ago. Come on. And then he named another storm. Let me tell you guys, since USAID has been shut down, obviously the person that wrote the Democrat talking points was on USAID's payroll. And they don't have anyone writing them talking points. So there's been really no liberal response as of yet to the Pam Bondi grand jury
Well, they're being overwhelmed, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, but don't.
They're giving it from every side.
Oh, come on. It shows you, we don't get talking points, and we can respond. They shot our president. They arrested our president multiple times, and we didn't have to wait for talking points, and we could articulate what was going on. Liberals are brain dead. They can't think.
Have a little compassion.
I have no compassion. The Never Trumpers shot President Trump, Steve. They arrested him. They got a mug shot. They broke into his home. They ransacked his office. They ransacked Melania's closet in Barron's bedroom at Mar-a-Lago. I have no sympathy for them. No sympathy. But the Mar-a-Lago raid is allowing them to have the grand jury in the trial in Florida. Since this part of the crime was committed in Florida, it falls within the jurisdiction of the Florida Federal Court District. So hopefully the story from Solomon is right, and the grand jury is in Florida. We could have listeners on that grand jury, Steve. Wouldn't that be... That'd be awesome.
You don't think listening to the Steve Kane Show would be a disqualifying factor?
I think it's great prep to be on the grand jury in this Obama coup case. Absolutely. Well, listen, that's all the time.
You wouldn't go out of your way to emphasize it in the jury.
No. You got to be fair and impartial. Okay, and just like the Democrats in Mershon's courtroom, right? That's all the time we have for today. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve, of course, is here. This is Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Take care. All right, we're clear. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe, all right? And if you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video and sharing on your socials, all right? I'm Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you next time. Take care.